Hello and welcome back to Lord Fenton Gaming Plays Baldur's Gate 3. I'm your host, Lord Fenton. In this Baldur's Gate 3 build video, we're doing the Paladin Oath of Vengeance and Fighter Battlemaster build. As always, like, comment, and subscribe my channel for more Baldur's Gate 3 builds like this. Do not forget to hit that notification bell so be updated much more. Now everyone, here are the pros and cons of this build. Now pros is obviously you're going to have smite. That's very good. You have very good strength and, of course, charisma. So both classes, they'll benefit from that. Because you have very good charisma, you're going to be able to pass many talking, dice rolls. You have high strength, same thing as well. High dice rolls do pass. Because you're a fighter, you're going to be able to get some superior dice attacks. Number one, you'll be able to have an extra attack when you use the surge ability. Another thing is because you're a great weapon user, you're going to do a lot of damage. I'm going to go ahead and say there's another thing I want to mention as well, is that you're a great frontline fighter. Now, cons is goes like this. Unfortunately, because you're a frontline fighter, your ranged attacks isn't that well. Number two, you're not going to get all these smites, so you're not going to get the level 3 spells, unfortunately. You're stuck with that. You're not going to get all the fighter extra feats. That's a disadvantage on that as well. So we're done with advantages and disadvantages. Let's go ahead and talk about, you guessed it, leveling up our character. Now for races, we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Beforehand, we speak about that. This build could actually work for two characters. There's a certain Drow Paladin you get in the game if you perform certain ways of getting her. Yeah, it works for her as well. We're not going to reveal the name. You know who she is. The Dark Urge is actually great with this build as well, because you can become any class what you want. Instead of a sorcerer, you can switch that. If you want to, go with custom characters. Now, I'm going to go over races, so here we go with that. Yeah, I always want to get the origin characters out of the way first. Now, races, let's see here. Elves gain is 9 meters per turn, so they get to move good ways. Elven weapon train proficiency with long swords, short bows, and long bows. They can see up to 12 meters in the dark. That is good. They also have advantages on saving throws against being charmed. Cannot be magically put to sleep. Now, high elves, they gain level 0 spells. Yeah, you can pick any what you want. I advise for this build, go with something like friendship. That'll help you out greatly. You can do the others if you want to, but friendship's the best way to go. Now, of course, let me switch back to Paladin just to do that. Yeah, so you can pick friendship. Since it's a talking ability, it'll help you out greatly. As well, you can do mage hands as well, too, if you want to do the alternative path on that. Now, wood elves, they gain 1.5 movement speed. Now, with 1.5 movement speed, what that does is makes you move much more further in battle than your other elven cousins. And, yeah, that's about it for the elves. Yeah, see, there you go, 1.5 movement speed there. Just want to show you that one more time. This is basically the same as my Oath of Vengeance build and my previous Paladin type of builds. Tieflings, 9 meters per turn they get to move, just like the elves. They also get to see 12 meters in the dark, up to 12 meters. And they have a nice resistance against fire, only take half damage from that. Later on in the game, there's some fire foes. Zariel Tieflings, they gain ability for intimidation and performance checks. Later on, they get smites for free. They're very powerful smites. Just trust me on that. Now, let me go ahead and get to the next race. Humans, let's go ahead and talk about them. Humans gain 9 meters movement speed. They also gain guard and peasant weapons, like, for example, halberds, light armor, shields, and pikes, and spears and glaives. And they're also very versatile, so they get an extra skill point to be proficient in. Instead of 4 everybody gets, they get 5. In fact, let me go ahead and do a demonstration right now of that. Let's pick the soldier. So instead of picking 4, you pick a 5th one. For a 5th one with this build, I advise either A, deception, or if you want to go for fun, performance. I'd probably say is deception is the way to go, since you're doing a paladin part and they benefit from those skills. We'll get to the background and skill combinations in a bit, but I just want to demonstrate that for a human. Githyanki, first of all, they get astral knowledge. They gain proficiency in all skills of a certain ability. So you want to be able to talk more better. That's the way to go. They start out with mage hands. That's good. Eventually you get misty step. So with the Oath of Vengeance, you get that ×2. Movement speed's 9 meters per turn, which is good, just like the other races, their size. They also get to use light, medium armor, short swords, long swords, and great swords. Next up are dwarves with 7.5 movement speed, less than the big races, but that's alright. Small pack, they're small, they're sometimes better. Dwarven combat trains basically axes and hammers. They also get to see 12 meters in the dark, which is good. And another thing is Dwarven resilience. They have advantages to save throws against poison, and resistance to poison damage when they are poisoned. So that's very good starting out, by the way, especially in Act 1. Foes like to poison you quite a bit. Now let's go over the sub-races. Gold Dwarfs, they get 1 extra hit point per level, so that extra hit points for them helps out big time. Another thing is Grey Dwarves, they get to see 24 meters in the dark due to the fact they've been living in Underdark for a very long time. And they have resistance against illusions and against being charmed or paralyzed, so they get to be able to be stopped from being locked down, I should say. Half-elves, they gain both their parents' movement speed, which is 9 meters per turn, which is good. Now, as for humans, they gain their weapon usage. If you like some of those weapons, that's fine. There's a two-handed one, the variants of those, since this build is two-handed weapons, basically. Let's see here. Dark vision, they see up to 12 meters in the dark. And same thing as their elven lineage for the next part. They have resistance against being charmed and cannot be magically put to sleep. They still could take a potion that makes them put to sleep by normal means. High half elf, they have ability to gain level 0 spells. I advise friendship to get that, so this way you have a boost on talking skills. Just be careful on higher difficulty. Wood elves, they gain 1.5 movement speed extra, so that's about 10.5 movement speed total, just like their wood elves, the full version of those. And now let's go over another race. Let's see here. Half orcs, they gain 9 meter movement speed per turn. Let's see what else they do get as well. They get dark visions. They see up to 12 meters in the dark. So that is another good thing. So yeah, they're very useful for underground. There's some times you're going to be going underground. Relentless endurance. So if you get knocked down, you get back up for 1 hit point instead of being down. And that's once per long rest. And here's a powerful one they also get as well. Savage attack. When you land a critical hit with a melee weapon attack, you roll extra dice for weapon damage, which is very nice. Now, what races I'd probably say is Zariel Tiefling, Half Orcs, Wood Elves, and if you want to go the extra skill point for conversations, humans as well. Now, what's in store for you for a Paladin? Well, you get Lay on Hands, and of course you get the ability to smite and plus more. Now, Oath of Vengeance is a bit different, so I'm going to go over that. First of all, for Oath of Vengeance, they get ability Inquisitor's Might. That does 2 extra radiant damage when you give it to yourself or your allies, and your foes can be dazed for a turn. It's a good ability to have. As for Oath of Vengeance tenants, they fight for the greater good against the greater evil, so anybody commits evil or they're wicked, they die. Do not spare them. If you decide to spare evil or so, you become an oath breaker. So that's the path of the Oath of Vengeance. Now for backgrounds, I'm going to do some suggestions. First of all, Noble, let's go with Entertainer. I said I picked this one as well because of acrobatics and performance. Noble, history, and persuasion's alright. I felt like Soldier's the best because athletics and intimidation. One for the fighter and one for the paladin, so pick the soldier. Now ability points is basically the same as my paladin builds. First of all, I'm going to put strength at 16. That's going to be, when we get to level 8, put that to 18. There'll be a potion in there for us to get to 20. Dexterity we'll keep at 10. Constitution we'll keep at 14 for a little bit more hit points. Yeah, you heard that right. A bit more hit points. Let's go ahead and put Dex at 10. Yeah, we'll put it average for now. So let's see here. Intelligence we'll leave at 8. That's going to be our weak bugaboo's skill. Let's see here. Wisdom 10. We'll leave that there. Charisma 16. Reason why we are going to put that 16 is for one reason only. We're going to use smites and stuff and talking skills. When we get down to 12, we'll get that to 18, and then mirror loss will even it to 20. So strength and charisma at 16, dexterity and wisdom at 10, constitution at 14 for more hit points, and intelligence at 8. That's going to be our weak spot for this build, is the intelligence. So you better get some intelligent items when you're if you're a main character playing this. Help you out quite a bit. So next part of this build video we're going to go over is the skills. So here we go. Now if you pick the soldier, then you get athletics, you get to move around battlefield and such. Well, insight, that's automatic paladin thing. Intimidation, that's a charisma skill, so we get to intimidate our foes. In dialogue, our people in dialogue. Persuasion, we get to persuade our anyone to do things for us. So if you're a human, definitely pick deception. That's about it for character creation, so let's level our character up. Now it's time to level up from level 2 to level 12. Now please note there will be some class changes. If you're playing an older version of Baldur's Gate 3 and you're on the lowest difficulty, you'll not be able to class change. Latest patches will allow you to do that. Fighting style is great weapon fighting. So if you roll a 1 or 2, you get to do a re-roll again. That's like a mulligan, folks, with great weapons. So this is a good one you want to pick. Don't worry, we'll be able to pick defense later on. So let's go over each of the paladin spells. Start off with protection from evil and good. Protects the ally against attacks. And powers of aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. Target cannot be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. And when these creatures attack you, they gain a disadvantage against you. This is good until long rest or until concentration breaks. Shield of Faith, you get 2 armor class. I say pass. There's better ways to get armor class big time. Now, command is this. Makes a creature flee, move closer to you, freeze, drop their weapons to the ground, drop to the ground. This is a good crowd control spell to use. So that's a nice one to have. So next one is Compelling Duel. Forces an enemy to fight you only. If they decide to fight someone else, they have a disadvantage, of course, against every other target except for you. This is like a taunt. Good to have, though. Bless up to 3 creatures. They gain 1d4 bonuses to attack rolls and saving throws. So this is a nice buff spell if you don't have Shadow Heart in your party. You can buff up. Just be careful, this is concentration rules as well, so you can lose concentration in that buff. Now, Heroism makes yourself a target immune to frighten and can gain 5 temporary hit points for each turn. Now, temporary hit points are just one source. This is a decent spell to have. So if you're getting frightened constantly, yeah, you could use that. Cure Wounds, 4 to 11 healing that happens to a person in close range. So this is basically a nice healing spell for a paladin. Searing Smite is weapon damage plus 1d6 fire. Deals an extra 1d6 fire damage and sets your targets on fire for that same amount. Good fire smite if foes are weak to fire. Must use, definitely. Now here's another smite you definitely want on the list. I felt like it's a good one as well. I'm just going to keep the searing one there for a few more seconds. There you go. Thunder Smite, weapon damage plus 2d6 thunder damage. Now this does is push your foes back for 3 meters and knocks them prone. If they're prone for 1 round, be careful though, because if any foes fall off the cliff, you lose said item that is on them. So it's a good way to get rid of tough foes if you have issues with them. Divine Favor, your weapon deals 1d4 radiant damage. That's 1 to 4 radiant damage. Good buff to have though. You could do it before combat for 3 turns. Wrathful Smite does weapon damage plus 1d6 psychotic damage. Frightens your target. They'll have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls against you. So if you really want to lock down your foes or mess with them, this is a good smite to have. So I suggest the smites and then command, and of course Compelling Duel is good, or Bless. That's another good one as well if you want to go that route. Now Ding level 3. Get used to hearing that word. So let's go over that. First of all is we get extra spell slot. We're now immune to diseases. So that's the good news for paladins. They've always been immune. They always gain at level 3. It's a Dungeon Dragon thing. Abjure Enemy frightens an enemy. They have disadvantages on ability checks and attack rolls and cannot move. Now, Fiends and Undead has disadvantage on this automatically. This is basically a oath type of action to have. So it's good. I would definitely say it's very powerful. So if you're facing a tough undead or so, that's good to do. Foul Enemy, gain advantages on attack rolls against an enemy. So if you want to fight a boss, you want advantage against them, pop this sucker and use it for 10 rounds. Bane, opposite of Bless. 3 creatures receive 1d4 penalty to attack rolls and saving throws. So if you want to debuff your foes, it's a good way to do it. It's good early on. Hunter's Mark, it does 1-6 damage. It's slashing damage. And it's extra damage on that, plus your weapon damage. So if you take out a foe with this mark on, then what happens is it moves to the next target you get to do without using a spell slot. Unless you break concentration, of course. And it's very good to have for an oath spell. You automatically get oath spells subscribed in your book, which is a good thing. So let's go ahead. I'm going to say is that one. Buff up our characters more for damage. Ding, level 4. So we're doing it every levels of 4 for character levels. Or class levels, I say more like it. You get yourself a free feat. You get lay on hand charges, more of that. We get to prepare a spell more. So for now, I'm going to put in Bless. But I'm going to change that out in the next level. As for feats, we're doing great Weapon Master. First of all, when you land a critical hit or kill a target, you get a bonus action to attack again. So you get the level 5, you get 2 attacks, you get that. That's total 3. As long as you don't use your bonus action. Unfortunately, your attack bonus rolls are -5. There's a ring that will negate that. And later on, you get to negate that further with items and such. And last but not least is melee damage bonus is +10. So you do extra 10 points of damage. And especially your half-orc, that's going to be really useful. Now, I'm going to go ahead and point out Savage Attacker. Savage Attacker, if some people won't go for that. They get to do 2 dice of roll. They take the best dice roll ever. I prefer Greater Weapon Master, but it's each to its own. So let's go ahead and select that and then go to level 5. Ding, level 5. So we're moving nicely on the Paladin side. We're going to only get 8 levels for that. Now, first of all, we get ourselves an extra level 1 spell slot and another level 2 spell slot. Extra attacks, so now you get to make 2 attacks per round. This is really good. Add that Great Weapon Master, that's total 3 if that conditions connect. And that's only a one-time deal, though, so you cannot do it with 4 levels of Fighter. No, it's the first class that gets it. 8, this will heal your characters for 5 hit points, and they get 5 temporary hit points. And it's not a bad spell to have. Branding Smite, it's weapon damage plus 2d6 radiant damage. And any foes hit with this who likes to go invisible or be sneaky, they get branded and cannot do that at all for 10 turns. Very powerful anti-rogue smite, I'll say. Now, next up, Lesser Restoration cures the following: disease, poison, paralysis, and blindness. This is actually a good cure-all spell, part 1. The greater one does a lot more, but this one's a good one to use. Magic weapon, so you imbue a mundane weapon, it becomes +1. You have bonus to attack rolls and damage. So you're lacking something with that, cast it there. It's good to use for that department. Last but not least is, let's see here, protection from poison. Removes all poisons from a target and then gain further protection against poison. So this way, in case it does get applied again, you get resistance to poison. You also gain advantages on saving throws against poison too. So it's a good buff spell to have to use and abuse. Now, Hold Person holds a humanoid enemy still. They cannot move at all, and they get stuck for about 10 turns. So anybody attacks said Hold Person, they get critical hit upon that Hold Person, which is a good spell to abuse. And it's based off of concentration too, so you have to be careful on that. Misty Step, so if there's a runner, you get to move closer to him, then you beat the living crap out of him. That's what Misty Step does for you. It's a teleportation spell. You all get the point. As for a race, Zariel Tieflings, we get Binding Smite, and the other one we got was Searing. I'm going to go ahead and get the match. I'm going to say is Binding Smite, and of course Restoration, lesser one. Ding, level 6. Unfortunately, we don't got much for that. So we get ourselves a nice Protection Aurora, which is good. And it's our only Aurora we'll get with this build. Now, Ding, level 7, so we're getting closer to ending the Paladin levels. So we get ourselves another spell slot, which is level 2. And a subclass feature, since we're Oath of Vengeance, Relentless Avenger. So if you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, if they run by you, you hit them, your movement speed is increased by 4.5 meters on your next turn. So you have to go after that runner. So they run by you, you hit them, you get to run closer to them, then you beat the living crap out of them. And just remember, Paladin spells you could change in and out at any time. Now, ding level 8. This is your last time as a Paladin for Oath of Vengeance. We get ourselves a feat now. So let's go ahead and just do that. No more spell changes after that on the level up screen. As for feats itself, what we're going to do is ability improvement, 2 points in strength. We'll get the other 2 with a certain potion that I will explain in a bit after this leveling part of the video. So put your points in strength once again, and that's about it. Now, from this point on, we're going to do a class change. No more Paladin levels. We're done with that class. You want to appear Oath of Vengeance? I have another build for that. Now, Paladin, I should say fighters, they gain second wind. They get healed 2 to 11 self. It's just like a self-heal. So if you're in deep doo-doo, you can use that for yourself to cure yourself. Short rest does apply. Now, ding character level 10, so we're moving nicely. This is what we get for a fighter. Action Surge. So Action Surge is you immediately gain an extra action to use. And by the way, as a fighter, do go for defense, which gives you 1 defense. That's the only one you should definitely get for that. So you got great weapon fighting, and then you got the defense. 1 extra AC helps you out. Now, ding level 11. Now we get to select our subclass. So we're going to keep the Battlemaster. I felt out of the 3, that's the best way to go. And we get superior dice, so our superior dice or damage is 1d8. We have 4 of those. Now later on for fighters they get 10. However, we're not going all the way. We're only going for exactly 4 levels. We get to pick 3 maneuvers. Here's my best ones I suggest. Now Rip Torch does is when an enemy attacks you, you get to do like a counterattack against them, and you can do an extra 1d8 damage as well. Very powerful if you're a 2-weapon user. Another one I'm going to go ahead and pick is, let's see here next. Precision attacks. So we can use our superior dice to be able to result in an attack roll. So we get extra attack roll bonuses on that. Last but not least is menacing attacks. We can spend a superior dice into doing normal damage plus 1d8, and of course possibly frighten our targets. And there's your precision attack there. You get your attack roll bonus. That helps out big time, especially with Great Weapon Master. Now we're at character level 12. 12 is the cap for the game, so this is the final level for the fighter. And we get ourselves a new feat. So as for feats itself, we're going to go ahead and select as ability improvement. And we're going to do is Charisma now. So we're going to put Charisma at 18. The Mirror Loss, when we get to that section, we'll get it to 20. You can get to 21 if you get really lucky on the hidden charisma check for that. That's about it for leveling up our Paladin / fighter from level 2 to 12. Next part is permanent ability score boosts. In Baldur's Gate 3, you can get permanent ability score boosts. There are 3 ways to do it, 1 for each act. In Act 1, spare Auntie Ethel to get a +1 ability score item of your choice. You have to pass through some charisma checks and such. So avoid your Paladin doing this, otherwise that Paladin would definitely be an oath breaker. So I have like will to do that for instance, so this way you pass some of the charisma checks. Go for the charisma +1 item, by the way. Now Act 2 with Steron, have him bite Aja in Moonrise Towers. If you have him do this, you get a +2 strength potion. By the way, Aja in Moonrise Tower, she's the one that sells potions and some of the best jewelry in the game, so play it cool in that area. Finally, in Act 3, there are 3 results you could get. First of all, for the Mirror Loss, if you pass some checks and then gave up 2 stats that you could set by Remove Curse. What happens is, number 1 is +1 Charisma and +2 stat your choice. The next one is you don't pass the hidden Charisma check, +2 stat your choice. Or number 3 is nothing. For this build, it's going to be +2 Charisma. So let's go over the before and after with the permanent ability score boosts. Now, for before and after for this section, for before, as if you're level 12 without using any items, Strength 18, Dexterity 10, Constitution 14, Intelligence 8, Wisdom 10, and Charisma 18. Now, after using the items, here we go. Strength 20, Dexterity 10, Constitution 16, Intelligence 8, Wisdom 10, and Charisma 20. 22 if you pass the Mirror Loss Charisma check and have the Auntie Ethel Charisma item to use. So let's go over the Strength Potion on what happens when you get it for demonstration purposes, and here we go. Now in Act 2, this is the NPC, Aja, in the Moonrise Towers. So have Asteron with you. If Asteron's dead, this will not work. So you gotta convince Asteron. You lose a little bit of approval from him, but you get yourself a free +2 strength potion. This is a very powerful potion to use. This will boost up your character as well. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. And there you go, everyone. You get yourself strength. Move my character from 18 strength to 20. So let's go ahead and talk about next is the Mirror Loss, shall we? In Act 3, the Mirror Loss is a very unique device. So a few things will happen. You have to pass 2 intelligence checks or so. Once that happens, then you have to offer yourself a stat to lose. That's the same as the ones to gain. The stat to lose, you cannot do number 7. Don't try to cheat the system. You get nothing. So anyways, I'm going to go over what ability scores you could gain from 1 through 6. Just use that for the Lost version for that as well. Now, number 1, we're going to go ahead and go over that. That is, you gain yourself +2 strength. Now, that's good, for example, fire builds or stuff like that. Or I'd say strength builds for, like paladins and such. Number 2 is Seasonal Thief. That is dexterity. Number 3 is +2 constitution for the barbarian, it says there. Number 4, it says the wizard part. That is +2 intelligence. Number 5 is +2 wisdom. And number 6 is +2 charisma. Now, for the loss, I say take your dexterity or constitution. You could do remove curse to get rid of the penalty. As for the gain, definitely take the, charisma. Reason being for that is that'll even it out to 20. And that's about it for the Mirror Loss. Now, next part of this build video we're going to go over is Tadpole Powers. In this section, we're going over Tadpole Powers. It's separated into 2 categories: before the Astral Touch Tadpole and after using the Astral Touch Tadpole. So let's go ahead and start with the before. For before, here we go. Favorable beginnings, boosts his attack rolls, or give you advantage in dialogues. Since you're having a paladin counterpart, really useful. Since it's both of you, really useful. Cold of the week. When a creature has fewer hit points less than your tadpole powers, it dies. So let's say you have about 10 tadpole powers, and this orc has 9 hit points. That orc dies. Very useful. Psionic Backlash. When a foe casts a spell, you do 1d4 damage per caster level. The damage goes up every time you level up. Annoying Caster. Use your reaction, and boom, you could kill the caster if you're really lucky. Force Tunnel. Charges forward and draws no attacks on you when you do this. This is like a free charge move. Just charge your foe, get them closer. You hate runners. Guess what? This is an anti-run ability. Drain ability. An attack that can drain either strength, melee, or dexterity range at first attack. And if you use spells, it'll drain whatever ability score the spell uses on. That's about it for before. Let's go ahead and do after. So you decide to go all the way and use the Astral Touch Tadpole. So I'm going to go over some abilities. Black Hole. This is a really OP AoE attack. And let me tell you, towards the end of the game, I abused that like crazy. Next up is Fly. Gain ability to fly just like the Fly spell. This will close in on enemies. So for example, you see a runner, you fly to him, you beat the living crap out of them. Now Repulsor, this is AoE pushback attack that does damage to enemies surround you, push them back, you do some damage, and then fight the ones you want to fight. Last but not least is Free Cast. Next ability, spells, or anything else is free of charge to use. So you want to use the Branding Smite, don't want to spend a spell slot. Free Cast, use the Branding Smite, bada bing, bada boom. That's about it for Tadpole Powers. Next part of this build video is Gear of Ice. For this section, I split it up into 2 parts. First of all, gear you want by the end of Act 1 and in-game gear. So do not leave an area and or act until you get said item on the list. That's very important. End of Act 1, that is before entering the Shadow Curse lands, by the way. As for in-game gear, that is before starting in-game. So let's go ahead and start with gear advice by the end of Act 1. Let's go over helmets you want by the end of Act 1. Grim Skull Helm. Attacker cannot land critical hits on you. That's a very good thing. Gains fire resistance. If you're already tiefling, you get more fire resistance. Gains use of Hunter's Mark. That's a very good thing. That's like just your Oath of Vengeance spell. Grim drops this at the end of Typeforge in Act 1. So you have to beat down Grim, get the helmet, that's it. If you have not reached that point and you decide not to do it, here's some alternatives. The haste helm gain movement for 3 rounds. That's about, I think, about 1 movement speed per round. In other words, you get to move around a lot more. This is in the lock chest in the Blighted Village in Act 1. Don't leave the Blighted Village without it. The helmet of smiting, when you use smite, you gain hit points equal to your charisma modifier. This is really good. This also gives you +1 constitution saving throws. This is in a chest at the Saloon Night Outpost in the Underdark in Act 1. So once you reach that point, yeah, look for the chest. Don't leave without it. Here's the following equipment you want by the end of Act 1, which is chests and, of course, gloves. Adamantine splint armor. Reduces all damage by 2. This is really good. When foes hit you, they get a -1 attack for 3 rounds. That's even better. Cannot be hit by critical hits as well. They're a good thing. Now, you can give the helm to someone else if you have this. Adamantine Forge Underdark. You have to craft it. You have to get the mithril ore. The adamantine. Well, actually, it's the split armor mold it is. Combine those two, fight Grim, then you collect. In case you don't want to do all that or you have not reached that point yet, chainmail +1 or full plate armor. Many places has this. For gloves of dexterity. Dexterity is set to 18 and you get yourself a +1 attack. Get the Yankee Crush in the mountain pass in Act 1. Now this merchant sells this to you, so don't kill her until you get it. Here's alternatives in case you have not reached that yet. Gloves of the Growling Underdog. 2 or more foes. You get advantage on melee attacks. So if they surround you, that's good. And you get +1 strength saving throws. That's really good because this build has strength saving throws are up there. Door Razglin's treasure crates has this in the Shatter Sanctuary. You basically have to kill him for the key. Or if you're really good at stealing, get the key from him if he has it. So don't leave the Shatter Sanctuary without. Let's move on to the next section. Now, this next section are the boots and the necklaces you want by the end of Act 1. Boots of Speed. When used, your movement speed is doubled for 1 round. This is real good. Thula has this item on her in Act 1 Underdark. She is the Deep Gnome. Either talk to her, kill her for it, or complete your quest to get it. Here's alternatives. Boots of Genial Striding. The wearer's movement speed is unimpeded by difficult terrain, just like the ranger's abilities later on they get. Blurk sells this in the Underdark Act 1. Do not, I repeat, do not leave the Underdark Act 1 until you get this from this hobgoblin. Cloaks, there's unfortunately none in Act 1. That's more in Act 2. Necklaces, Amulet of Branding. Foes get hit with Branding spell. Takes double damage in melee. So, you get the Yankee Crash, and the Mountain Pass has this. Same merchant that sells you the Gloves of Dexterity will actually drop this for you. Here's alternative amulet of restoration. Gain the use of mass healing word and healing word. Deirdre's Bone Cloak sells this at Mitochondrial Colony Underdark in Act 1. She has some good items as well. This is the same place where Blarg is at, so clean out her inventory of magical items as well. Let's move on to the next set of equipment. Now we're on the rings. There's some good rings you can get starting out. Crusher Band, movement speed is +3 meters. You can steal or loot Crusher to get this ring in the Goblin Camp in Act 1. Just gotta be very careful because the goblins can watch you doing it. Caustic Band, you deal +2 acid damage to foes, so you gain +2 acid to your weapon. Deirdre's Bone Cloak sells this at Mitochondrial Colony Underdark in Act 1. Clean out her inventory like I said previously. Here's some alternative rings. Ring of Absolute Force, use the Thunder Wave, just like the spell, 1 to 6 damage. If Absolute Branded, you deal 1 extra damage to it. Sergeant Thrin in the Grimforge Act 1 has this. Most likely a drop if you get real lucky. Or you turn those boots of speed and you get the ring, I believe it is. The Sparks Wall cannot be electrocuted. Electric resistance increases as well. This is in the Arcane Tower basement Underdark in Act 1. Clean out that tower. There are some good arcane items there as well. Let's get to the two-handed weapons. Alright, here's the deal. Here's the best weapon you can get in Act 1. Sussword, Great Sword. This is a +1 Great Sword. Silenceless target on hit. Really useful against spellcasters. Finish the quest called Finish the Master Work Weapon side quest by getting the Sussword Bark in the Underdark Part 1 and a plain mundane Great Sword. You can find those at the forge in the Blighted Village, and there's that sword there. Really good to have. Here's some nice alternatives. Sword of Justice is a +1 great sword. Tears Protection gives the person with the buff +2 armor class until they remove the sword. Ends when you, of course, like I said before, remove the sword. Anders in the Risen Road Toll House drops this, so you have to figure out his ruse and then kill him for it. Here's an honorable mention. Everburn Blade is good to have if you did get it by killing Commander Zalk in the prologue. This is not easy to pull off, but this gives your weapon fire damage. And of course, you use magic weapon to make it a +1 temporarily. Let's go to ranged weapons. Now for ranged weapons, Titan String Bow. This is a +1 longbow. This bow does damage equal to your strength mod. So if your strength mod is 4, that's 1d8, I think it is, +4. Bream in the Zent's hideout sells this in Act 1 after helping out the Zents that's by the Gnolls. So take out the Gnolls. The Zents will thank you big time, and you have access to there. You could try to also talk your way through it if you can. Here's good alternatives. Giant Breaker. This is a +1 heavy crossbow. Foes get a -1 attack for 2 rounds when they are hit by it. Same person who sells the Titan String Bow sells this as well in Act 1. Bow of the Banshee, +1 short bow. On hit, possibly inflicts frighten. When you see a frightened target, you gain 1d4 extra damage against them. So you get 1d6 damage +1. Add 1d4 to it. That's a lot of damage. Cost Sword Grey Moon Grimforge sells this or drops this in case you go murder mode on him. That's about it for equipment you want by the end of Act 1 before entering the Shadow Curse lands. Let's go to endgame gear. Do remember for endgame gear, you want to make sure you do not leave the area and act. So if it's area in Act 2, for example, that's being sold there, do not, of course, leave the area with said item. So let's go ahead and start with the helmets. Helmet Barinian heals you 2 hit points per round, which is real nice. +1 armor class, which is good, and saving throws as well on the +1 side. Cannot be stunned. This is real good. Cannot be critical hit against. This is really good. Defeat the Wormway Trials and the boss to get this in Act 3. You know who the boss is, not spoiling it. As for alternative helmets, the Helldusk Helm can see through normal and magical darkness, cannot be blind at all. Those 2 are great features, +2 saving throws against spells. Also, the wearer is immune to critical hits. House of Hope in a locked room in Act 3. Get that room open in Act 3 and get that helmet. Cerevox Horn Helmet. Gain or increase vision meters. So if you already have the highest dark vision, you'll get more than that. If you don't have dark vision, you get that. Number of critical hit rolls for you to roll that is dropped by 1. So if it's 20, that rolls critical hits. Now it's 19 to 20 for a critical hit to hit. Cannot be frightened, which is real good anti-crowd control ability there. Constitution save +1, very nice on that end. You know who at the Murder Tribunal drops this in Act 3. Let's move on to the next section. Let's go over cloaks. Yes, now you can get some cloaks from Act 2 and beyond. Flesh Melter Cloak. When wearer gets hit, the attacker takes 1 to 4 acid damage. Gilded Chest and the House of Healing Morgue in Act 2. Do not leave that morgue without this cloak. It's one of the first cloaks in the game you get. Cindermouth Cloak. Attacker takes burning damage, which is 1 to 4 fire damage per round. Alice Osiris in the Lower City Sewers in Act 3 drops this. He's surrounded by slimes and such, so murder him for that cloak. Let's move on to the next set of equipment. Now, next up the bat are chest pieces and gloves. Helldusk Armor. Can use heavy armor when you wear this. When a caster spell hits you, you can make a save throw against it. Caster takes burning damage if they cast spells against you for that. You're immune to burn, which is a great thing. Resistance and fire, which is really good. Takes 3 less damage from all sources. Another defensive type of thing, so if it's fire against you, shave 3 points off of that. Raphael drops this in Act 3. You know where he's at, go fight him for it. It's not an easy fight. Here's alternatives. Armor of Resistance, damage reduction by 2, gain resistance, and Blade Ward. Blade Ward gives you, I think, 50% damage against blunt, piercing, and slashing. Damien sells this in Act 3 in the Lower City Sewers. Get enough money, buy it. Here's some gloves. Gauntlet and Hill Giant Strength, +1 strength saving throws. Your strength is automatically set to 23. This is at the archives at the House of Hope in Act 3. Best gloves in the game for melee fighters. If you cannot get those yet, or you don't want to go in the House of Hope, Legacy of the Masters, this gloves does the following: +2 attack and damage rolls with weapons, +1 strength save throws. Damon sells this in Act 3, Lower City. So, as long as Damon's alive, he'll sell this to you. If not, I don't know what else to tell you. Let's go on to the next section of equipment. Now, for boots, Hell Dust boots cannot be moved by magic or non-magical means. So, in other words, can't be knocked back or anything of that matter. Immune to difficult terrain. So, in other words, difficult terrain drops on you. Just walk like it's normal walking ground. When you fail a saving throw, you could use your reactions to succeed instead. So, it's another great thing. So, you fail one save throw, hit that reaction, that's it. Short or long rest does apply. Teleport to an area. When you do teleport, you do 2 to 16 fire damage in the area. So you say surprise MFer and you make the foe take damage. This is in Lord Gortash's room in Act 3, so you have to either steal the key from him or basically murder him for the key. Here's alternative boots. Boots of persistence, gain freedom of movement, and long stride. Long stride just gives you more movement speed. +1 dex saving throws. Damon sells this in Act 3. So you want to get these boots, buy it from Damon, as long as he's still alive. Here's some necklaces. Amulet of greater health. Your constitution set to 23. That means more hit points. Advantage on constitution saving throws. In the archives at the House of Hope in Act 3. Best necklace in a game for frontline fighters. Cannot get it or you're not there yet. Surgeon Subjugation Amulet. When you score a critical hit on a humanoid, the wearer can be paralyzed for 2 turns. This is really good. That means you do extra damage against them. Maelstrom drops this at the House of Healing in Act 2. Good way to really get this is have Shadowheart talk him into killing himself, and boom, there you go. Free amulet. Let's move on. For this next section are the rings. Most of it you can get in Act 2. Killer Sweetheart. When you kill a creature, your next attack roll will be a critical hit. So you kill a foe, you get a critical hit chance. It'll be like a reaction. It'll be saved there until, of course, long rest or so. Self-same trial in the Gauntlet Shard in Act 2. Kill your doppelganger, loot the ring. Do not get the Umbrella Orb until you get the best ring in the game. Ring of Regeneration. At the start of combat, you regenerate 1 to 4 hit points per round. This is a very good ring. Roland or someone else who runs the Sorcerer Sundry's front office or front desk sells this to you in Act 3. Don't leave the Sorcerer Sundry's until you get it. Here's 2 alternative rings, both in Act 2 at the Moonrise Towers. Ring of Free Action, you ignore the effects of difficult terrain, also cannot be paralyzed or restrained. So in other words, those 2 debuff abilities on you, nope. Aja, that's a strength potion NPC, sells this in Act 2 at the Moonrise Tower. Play it cool there. Risky Ring, gain advantages on attack rolls and disadvantages on saves. You get disadvantage on saves, but you got plenty of save throws on your strength and charisma. Also, another thing is attack rolls. This will counter the greater weapon mastery, which is -5 attack. This will definitely get rid of that. Aja also sells this in Act 2. Same NPC I just mentioned. Let's move on to the 2-handed weapons. Now for weapons, Baldurian's Giant Slayer on hit, double your strength mod. So if your strength mod's 5, it'll be 10. Advantages on creatures that are large and above. So if they're gigantic like a dragon or a giant, you do extra damage against them. +3 great sword, so that's what the magic effect is on that. Giant form, when you use it, you do 1d6 extra damage, 27 hit points you automatically get, and you get a boost in strength save throw advantages. This is dropped by the boss of the Wormway Trials in Act 3. Complete the Wormway Trials, fight the boss, you get this as well. Here's alternative sword, Sword of Chaos. On hit, you regenerate 1 to 6 hit points. This is a +2 great sword. Looted from you-know-who in the Murder Tribunal in Act 3. If you know who I'm talking about, yep, you're going to get this sword as well. Let's definitely move on to ranged weapons. For ranged weapons, you should go for a Darkfire Shortbow, +2 shortbow, gain resistance to fire and ice, can cast haste just like the spell, double movement speed, armor class, and etc. Damien sells this in Act 2. If you're really lucky, he's still alive or there. He'll sell this as well in Act 3. That is at the end in Act 2, by the way. Here's the alternative bow, or say a heavy crossbow. Fabricate Abelis, this is a +2 heavy crossbow. Illuminating shot fires a shimmering bolt that inflicts 1 turn of radiant orb upon the target. This deals 1d4 piercing damage as well. Dazzling Ray, unleash a beam of brilliant light that blinds all creatures in its path until spell ends. You recast it. Cast it again may possibly burn you each time when you recast it. This is for 10 turns. Now, for the Radiant Orb, if it saves, target takes half. If not, target takes 2d10 radiant damage. Lord Gortash drops this in Act 3. You're going to have to murder him for it. And that's about it for endgame gear. Next part of this build video is potions, oils, and elixirs. For this section, I'm going to cover potion, oils, and elixirs that this build should use. Now, please remember with elixirs, you can only have one elixir at a time. So, for instance, if you have the Barkskin elixir, that gives you 2 armor class. Up to a certain point, then you use the elixir of Cloud Giant Strength. The elixir of Cloud Giant Strength will replace the previous one. So, let's go ahead and start with potions first. Now, for potions, you want healing potions of all types are a must. That's very important. It helps you out big time. For example, Shadow Heart runs out of spell slots for healing. Now, Potion of Haste, gain an extra action, plus 2 AC, advantage on dex saving throws, and double movement speed. You get penalized after 2 or 3 rounds on it, but this potion clears out tough battles and boss fights real quickly. You also want is a Potion of Flying, same as the Fly spell. Honorable mention will be the Potion of Vaulting. It gives you a shot to jump very high or very far. Let's go to elixirs. Now for elixirs, there's quite a bit. Elixirs of Vigilance, gain plus 5 bonus to initiative, and cannot be surprised. In other words, if you move up the front line more for combat, and foes cannot jump you. Elixirs of the Colossus, this is an underdog elixir, increases your size, gains strength saving throws, and advantages, and does 1d4 weapon damage. That potion means is you get to jump up higher, do more damage, and kick some serious butt. Elixir of Viciousness, increase your chance to land a critical hit. So for instance, if you roll 20 for critical hit, it drops it down by 1 to 19 to 20. Items will stack with this as well. Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength, set your strength to 27. Best endgame elixir for a frontline fighter, especially for this build. Elixir of Blood Loss, upon killing your foe, you gain 5 extra hit points and an extra bonus action. For this case, that is real good. Let's move on to oils. As for oils, here we go. Oil Accuracy. This is a coat weapon, bonus of plus 2 in attack rolls. This is great if you have that greater weapon mastery feat, because he has -5, drops it down to -3. Wizard Bane Oil. Its target receives the following penalty. If it's a specialist spellcaster, -3 penalty to spell attack rolls and spell save DC. Disadvantage on saving throws for maintaining concentration for 2 turns. So if there's an annoying caster likes to cast Call Lightning, coat your weapon Wizard Bane Oil, hits the caster. They try to cast it again, 9 out of 10 times they'll probably fail. Also, get your hands on poison as well if you can. This will help you out big time in battle. That's about it for oils, elixirs, and potions. Next part of this build video is combat demonstration. Now for combat demonstration, we're going to go ahead and demonstrate early on in the game, basically Act 1. I'm having Steron take care of the drums. There you go. No more reinforcements. So let's move him over here, and that should do it for him. So now I'm going to go ahead and, of course, summon some stuff. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and have her help me out with that. Okay, she missed. That's all right. Don't worry. I'm coming to the rescue. Watch this. So I say goodbye to this goblin. Now because I did get a kill, this goblin's going to die as well. Bye to that goblin. Already, we're clearing about almost half the battlefield. Okay, that's right, we missed. It's all about setting the tone at the start of combat. If you're really killing a lot of foes, you're setting a tone that you're wrecking them big time. So there's only 4 left. I could definitely take the damage on that. So now we got Lizelle. And I'm going to go ahead and see what I could do for her. Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and use Misty Step. Let's demonstrate that. This is called Anti-Run spell. She's not going to definitely, I'm going to say, is do the, the extra kill, but that's all right. Let's get her to do 1 more damage, and boom. There you have it. We'll just move her closer and have a good time there. Now we have a Steron. See if I can take out this fool. He's too high, but I'm going to try at least. That's all right. So let's go ahead and get Shadowheart. Summon some help. So we're about to finish this off after we get to our main character. That should do it. There you go. There we go. We summon a Brain Eater. So let's go ahead and take this fool out. Okay, sometimes this happens, and there you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and climb up the ladder, do Misty Step, and park near this foe. I used my bonus action, but that's alright. We'll just keep this foe there, just keep him locked down. Now, next round, I guarantee you on my main character is going to finish it off. And there you go, critical miss. Yeah, for some reason, it does not like Lizelle to move over there. So let's move her closer. Once I'm done with Lizelle, the battle should be over once I get to my Paladin for now. Yeah, instead of Paladin Fighter, we're just going on the pure Paladin until late. Let's go ahead and do it. And there you go. Now we'll just stop the turn. Or, yeah, we could do nothing else. Let's go ahead and put my main character there just to end the battle. And this should be it for this demonstration for Act 1. Now, next demonstration is going to be Act 2. Now our character's level 9, so we're starting our fighter levels in Act 2. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how brutal this build can be. So let's go ahead and get our Paladin ready to go. So let's go ahead and get him there. So once our Paladin is definitely distracting our foes, we're about to wreck everything in sight. Another hit, and this fool should die. And let's go ahead and pop this sucker. And there, we're going to park this over here, so this way this fool will be distracted. So we're setting the tone right now that one orb, one summon. Nope, it's not going to happen. Okay, unfortunately, a Steron missed on that. Happens from time to time with him. We're going to go ahead and end the battle here for him until next round. So let's go ahead and end it for him as well. We're going to have these two take out the other two summons. So let's use Flame Strike. That should do it, and pop. There goes the orb. Shadowheart did her job. Now we're going to go ahead and have this little flying bag of terror. Have some fun. So we're just going to park him behind here for another distraction reason. Our foe's not going to go after our Paladin when it's his turn. And there you go. Saving throw, that's alright. One more attack. It's a little bit less damage, but we're going to have fun with this. There you have it. So we're going to have Will take out the other orb. And have him also do Flame Strike. There you go. So we have one enemy left, so we could do anything what we want at this point in time. Also, our allies are going to help as well. If you need to start using some oath spells and abilities to hamper your foes big time, we're not really going to need that because we're about to wreck everything in sight. Unfortunately, this axe ain't going to do nothing. Oh well, we're just going to go ahead and just move the axe, and that's about it. So we'll get back to our Paladin, and that should do it. So this lone foe is going to attack the imp. And yeah, it's going to do a little bit less damage. That's all right. And everybody else can move forward. So we're about to wreck this skeleton. So we're going to wait by to the skeleton. After that, we're going to go ahead and talk about final advice. And let's go ahead and do that now. When you start out just as a Paladin Oath of Vengeance, you're going to have to learn your smites and also Paladin spells and abilities too in that oath. Don't break your oath at all times. That's very important. Another thing as well, take advantage of your Oath of Vengeance abilities and such. So if you want to stop a runner, yeah, good idea to catch up to runner or try to freeze them in their place. Once you do become a fighter from level 9 to 12, learn about Action Surge, take advantage of Action Surge against bosses and tough enemies like this. Use your superior dice for certain situations. Precision Strike, for instance, used against bosses, number 1. Number 2, another thing that's great as well is take advantage of the one that frightens your targets, like weaker enemies and so. Just remember your Oath of Vengeance Paladin, take the greater weapon bonus there, and then when you're a fighter, take the defense one for a +1 AC when you're wearing armor. This is a very powerful combination. If you really know how to use it, you will dominate the battlefield. This is it for my Baldur's Gate 3 Paladin Oath of Vengeance and Fire Battlemaster build video. This is Lord Fenton signing off. Thanks for watching and have a great day or night. Do please stay safe. Please subscribe to my channel for more classic and modern Dungeons & Dragons walkthroughs, builds, guides, and more just like this. If you like what you see, then go ahead and pick my suggestion on the upper left-hand corner or YouTube suggestion on the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and relax in this nice chair.